Dim now. All right, so we're recording.
Hi.
Hey. So we are united through vision, and this is Michael Armstrong and
Tiffany Armstrong.
And we have Nate Zeleznick with us today.
Hi, guys. Welcome. Thank you so much for having me here on your inaugural show. I am honored.
We're honored. It's awesome. Couldn't have a better person with us for our first one. So we call him Moss Nate. He's one of our teachers from a technique called Vibravision, and we wanted to bring him on just to talk about this amazing thing that's redefining blindness as we know it, and I think the rest of the world before too long.
Yeah, definitely. So Mike's been practicing a little bit longer than I have, but I've got a solid 2.5 years in, and there are some phenomenal successes happening, such as I like to tell people, if I was put in like a big event center, I'm totally blind, and if I was being put in an event center with another totally blind person who didn't have Vibravision, I do have Vibravision. I know there's no question in my mind I have the upper hand in navigating that event center because of the skills that I've been able to learn and grow, and really it's an art, it's a martial art, to open up my awareness and my ability to use some other organs in our brain and stuff to sense and actually physically see what is going on in front of me. So that is just one way it's really, really helping me and others involved.
Absolutely. So we're fortunate enough to have Nate on with us today, and he's going to talk a little bit about his experience and what brought him there. So, Moss, can you tell us what really got you into Vibravision the first time?
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people out there that are watching this or listening to this, they may not be able to tell, but my brother Mike and I, who started this together 22 years ago, we come from a very long line of healers, of medical professionals, people who have worked in the fields of genetics, and also people who have worked intensively with people with disabilities. In fact, my maternal grandfather was one of the most world-renowned prostheticians, helping children with polio and also people who were amputees. And going back now, I found out after a little bit of research, going back close to 1,000 years into the realm of Jewish mysticism, we're actually descendants of the creator of the Kabbalah. So it is in our genetic code to be helpers, to be healers, to be the kind of people that help people expand their awareness. And so when you say, how did I get started? Well, thanks for all my ancestors for helping put that in my code here. But the way that we really got started was in 1998. I watched a Indonesian videotape that showed martial arts and inner power demonstrations, and they had a really cool demonstration on there that blew my mind, blew both of our minds. And that was people who were running blindfolded through obstacle courses and breaking big clay pots and breaking steel bars, blindfolded.
And breaking steel bars.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With a finger?
Some were with the finger, and some were breaking them like big stacks of stone with their head. And it's crazy stuff. But the thing is the fact that they were doing these things blindfolded and riding bikes and motorcycles through traffic and having military members who had hoods on who were shooting targets out of, people were holding balloons like between their legs and above their head, and they were shooting these targets. But there was also a demonstration of some blind people who were, it was a demonstration for, I believe it was the Sultan of Oman or one of his representatives. And so they had people from the audience come up and draw on a whiteboard, like a shape. It was actually a person's face. And then they'd write a word up to the side and then have one of the blind demonstrators come up and trace it and just be able to scan and sense what was on that whiteboard and reproduce it. And I thought that was amazing, but I thought it was BS. I'm like, nobody could really do that. There's got to be a magic trick. Mm-hmm. But something inside me was saying that's just the most amazing thing I've ever seen. That's like Jedi powers right there. Mm-hmm. But I didn't give it much of another thought as I went to bed. And then the very next day, I was parked, or actually not parked, but I was stopped at a traffic light right next to the Utah Schools for the Deaf and Blind. And I watched a blind person almost get kind of almost get killed. I mean, it could have been really bad, but their guide dog led them around a light pole and they ran right into it. And I'm sitting there kind of making this correlation. I just saw a video with blind people doing some amazing things. And here I am outside the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind, and I'm seeing somebody who could really have used what I saw on the videotape to not have happen what just happened.
Right.
And it just inspired me, like in my DNA. I had to find out more about it. And I contacted the people in Indonesia and set up the very first demonstrations here in America, became one of the first two, along with my brother Mike, non-Indonesian people to ever learn the Merpati Putih martial arts and energy system.
Awesome.
And we're really pioneering this technology, which is an ancient technology that was a closely guarded secret, but we're pioneering it here in America now. And 2020 is the year that we're going to make an amazing impact on the entire world of consciousness and vision.
So have you always been a martial arts enthusiast? Is that kind of what I'm hearing? I know it sounds like you guys were, I mean, all guys have a tendency to want to watch martial arts. I mean, I think we're ingrained to want to watch Star Wars and things like that. But have you and Mike always been doing martial arts?
Well, yes, being brothers, we started off with no technique, but definitely fighting a lot. Once we started watching ninja movies back in the 80s, I wanted to catch arrows in my teeth, and I wanted to be able to jump off of 5-story buildings and land without even bending my knees. And of course, Star Wars, seeing Luke Skywalker with the lightsaber blocking the laser. I mean, that's just the most amazing thing ever. So it's always been in our mind. Yeah, I want to be a Jedi ninja. Yes.
That's cool. So can you tell us a little bit what it was like the first time you went to Indonesia?
That's where probably the biggest inspiration that I have ever had in my life up until that point came.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. We were in Jakarta, and my brother Mike and I had gone over there for martial arts training and testing. And we had actually brought a team of demonstrators from Utah there. And they took us to a school where they had trained a fairly large group of blind students. And these students were able to navigate obstacles, horizontal and vertical and slanted. And they were able to play tag with each other. And they were able to do things that, by physics and by our 3-dimensional understanding, our 5 sensory understanding, nobody should be able to do that. And yet they were doing things that were absolutely astounding. And, I don't, since I'm a man, I don't like to say I was crying, but I was bawling like a little kid. The inspiration of seeing so many people that were doing what we had originally set out to do 7 years before, that was a pivotal time where Mike and I both understood our mission is so possible. It's not just a couple people that can do this. Other people can do this too. And there's no way in hell we're ever going to give up until we make it a reality. And that's where we're sitting at in 2020 right now. It's a reality. It's coming. Thanks in part to you. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So I want to go back. It kind of like brings it full circle. So first of all, you're like watching these videos. The very next day, you have this like lightning bolt truth, idea, passion, and like, oh my gosh, like this is real. But and then again, going to Indonesia and like having this happen in Jakarta, like, holy moly. And like hearing you say these stories back to back, we've never heard stories like this back to back. We've heard many stories from you, obviously, in our relationship. But to sit here in a position like this and have this kind of conversation, like something just hit me. And it's like, no matter if you're the Kapasa of the special unit in Indonesia, their military, or you're a blind person, when in Vibravision, the really cool thing is everybody's blind once you put that blindfold on.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to talk about equality. And right now there's so much going on with equality, not to get political, and I don't want to here, but it's like, holy moly, like what you guys are doing on so many levels is so amazing and freeing for so many people. We feel like we're at home over there.
Yeah.
Especially in class, and the demonstration team is walking around with the blindfolds on, and Angie walks up to me. She's my idol, and she says, "Tiffany, that is an amazing shirt. That color looks really pretty on you." And then I go, "Are you wearing your blindfold?" And she's like, "Of course I am." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like that is what drives me to continue and really having like glimmers of that in our day to day. And obviously the COVID hasn't been a blessing. We really believe it's happened for us, not to us. And getting the chance to practice Vibravision together and be a team, we've been having amazing success, but it's really starting to come full circle. So like, what's the next step for Vibravision and you and Mike, your brother?
That, if you would have asked me that 2 weeks ago, it would have been a different answer than what I'm about to give you. So recently we've come under the spotlight of numerous people in the field of film and movies, authors, CEOs, significant financial means and generosity. And just right before this call, I was on the phone with a military contractor. So, we have over 175,000 blind veterans in this country. And for the people that have sacrificed everything, they have been willing to sacrifice everything for our freedoms. It's really a dream of ours to be able to bring the Vibravision skill and the meditations to the people that really deserve an opportunity to have back some of what they lost defending our freedom. And the breath work and the meditation that we do alone, which is proprietary and unique, there's nothing like it in the world, and what it can do for people's mental state. I was just talking to this defense contractor who works for the VA, and she was telling me that she's had numerous friends commit suicide in the VA parking lot.
I got chills.
More of our veterans die from suicide than in combat. So now you're asking me, and I cannot tell you. I cannot honestly tell you, because the doors that are opening now for this to help more people than we ever thought possible, those doors have just flung wide open. And so my vision for Vibravision is, and for the Merpati system, is to be able to empower children, to empower our veterans, to be used in our military forces to be safer and do their job better, to spread throughout the blind community of this country, as well as the mind community, so that we can start to really understand more that we are multidimensional beings, we are multisensory beings, that the five senses that we think of as being our senses are only a small part of what we're actually capable of as beings of energy and consciousness, which is non-local. Science understands that consciousness is not in the body. They don't know exactly where it is. It's very interesting, but it's called non-local consciousness. And I just watched a show last night about it. The thing is we are limited by what we believe we're limited by, but we're truly unlimited beings. And we're taught. We have not been given permission to do the amazing things that we are capable of. We haven't been given permission by society. Well, screw society's vision of that. Their permission. What we really want to do is we just want to blow the lid off of functional human consciousness and redefine blindness as we see it, and redefine everybody's idea of what we can actually do, because we don't have a clue. We don't have a clue.
Right. That's something I wanted to bring up too. You brought it home. When I first heard about, Vibravision, I was with my sister. We had heard about it through a pretty well-known O&M instructor, Daniel Kish.
Yes.
And he had mentioned that he had gone to Indonesia and learned about this system. So I was looking at it with my sister, thinking, this is crazy, I got to do it. And I started calling you guys on a regular basis. Finally, I worked my way into your minds and hearts, and you allowed me to go there. And thank you for that blessing still today. And the first day going through these breathing techniques and finding my cane on the floor, it was so incredible for me, because, it's one thing to see people do it and say, okay, is there a trick? Are they looking through the thing? But I don't even have eyes anymore. And you can't trick yourself. I mean, seriously.
No.
And in the last 3 years that I've been doing it personally, and Tiff's about 2.5 now, we've seen ourselves and so many other students just have so much success. And it's magical. And the breathing techniques and what that does for your mindset, you're on point. And just thank you for seeing the value of this and pursuing it as relentlessly as I know you both have.
Yeah. It is my honor. There are very few people in the world actually find out or ever know in their life what they were actually put here to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very fortunate that I found out when I was 23 years old. And I'm very fortunate also that I have a brother who is the most bulldog, won't back down from a challenge.
I know.
You throw a punch, you're drawing back a stump. As far as tenacious, but also good-hearted, and creative individuals. There would not be a Vibravision program as we know it here in this country if it was not for my brother Mike. His ingenuity is off the charts. I don't have that skill the same way he has that skill. I have things like time management. He's a creative genius. So he doesn't operate in the same paradigm, but his ability to see and understand what people need in order to perceive the way that they can the best is unparalleled. It is truly amazing. And so we make a very good team. And that being said, you and I, the both of you and I and my brother Mike and the others that train with us, we all make a very good team because we're all oriented in the same direction, which is, can I get better and can I help the people around me?
Absolutely.
And that spirit of generosity is one that comes back. It comes back to you.
So what kind of challenges have you faced with, breaking this thing that just breaks down reality as we know it, or we're taught,
And the mold of society, right?
Yeah.
I mean, society hasn't given us permission, and we got a lot of flack from a lot of people. But I want to know, Mike, that's a great question.
That is a wonderful question. Well, first thing is other people's disbelief. So other people's disbelief has been a difficult road for us to travel. Also, back in 2001, we had a team of people come over to undergo a paranormal challenge here. Unfortunately, the rules of the challenge were not adhered to by the people doing the tests, and the test was not successful. Now, these were Indonesian people coming over, not our people that we had trained, but that still followed us around for a long time as a failure, which it wasn't a failure. It was at the time, but it was really a learning experience because that set us on a course of business ownership and entrepreneurship where we were given the opportunity, really, that's a nice way of saying forced to learn how to operate a business, because that was never our path, like our designed path was not to open a martial arts school for the Merpati Pucci system. It was just to bring some people over here to show what can be done and say, here you go, turn you loose on the world. There you go. Finder's fee, please. Yeah. Well, that's not the way that worked out, but everything worked out perfectly because the universe does not make mistakes. It does not make mistakes. And so now we're here at this point after 22 years of diligent work and failures and setbacks, all of which have been oriented toward our growth. So in my hand right here, I'm holding a research paper, an initial report by Dr. Jeffrey Fannin, one of the most world-renowned neuroscientists that there are.
Yes.
who has come and mapped the brains of our demonstrators, including the two of you.
Yep.
And I'm just, for your viewers, I'm just going to read 2 sentences from his author's note.
Yes,
Because
please.
he's been doing this for over 25 years now as one of.
And can we name drop right quick, like who he worked with? I think we can do that.
Sure.
I don't
see why not. I've been doing that now that I'm not. Cause, okay, so many people are familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm just full disclosure, Dr. Joe is one of my heroes. I love that man, and I love what he's doing for consciousness and healing and human potential. And Dr. Jeffrey Fannin was his chief neuroscientist for 9 years. So, Dr.
he definitely knows his stuff. He's a very brilliant man, for sure.
Yes. And after over 4,000 brain scans with Dr. Joe and shamanic groups, PTSD, people who suffer from PTSD, people with ADD, ADHD, and other brain issues, this is what he has to say. This is a small portion. During that time, I have recorded the brain doing amazing things, but nothing like what I see now. Since being allowed this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I have seen and recorded brain function and performance that many would tell you is impossible. I can tell you that these things are not only believable, possible, and measurable, but they are a scientific fact. So that is in regards to Vibravision.
Woo! Yeah. Let's celebrate about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike, when you first came to us, you trained with Dr. Jeffrey Wright. He was also in your group. And he's the president of the the Utah Association of Naturopathic Physicians. His daughter is losing her sight, and we have his endorsement letters. Numerous optometrists have endorsed what we're doing, and then all 5 of the blind individuals, the amazing future Jedi warriors, are. It was very important for us, guys, after that failure back in 2001. That we bring science, we bring medicine, we bring the blind community, we bring the optical community, we bring them to the table and we say, here you go. Is it real or not? Do it for yourself. Is it real or not? And now, with all of this endorsement, people validating to the world what we've known ever since I saw a blind person smack themselves into a light. Well, they didn't smack themselves. It was dumb. But I saw this for myself and got the chance to experience it and train in it and feel it for myself. This is literally a dream come true, and everything is happening exactly as it should now for this to have a huge impact on the world, because right now, we have more social upheaval. We have environmental collapse. We have so much divisiveness. What would it be like? What would it be like if the younger generations, like your son Gavin and his cohorts, meaning all children, understood and could perceive that we are all energetic beings, that we don't need to, it's okay to be a group, but a tribe comes when there's a threat, and then it's one tribe against another. We're all one group, guys. It's called the human race, and we're all energy. And it's not about your skin color. It's not about your religious faith. It's not about where you come from on the planet. We are human. And when you start understanding that from a knowledge base, not a theoretical base, but you can feel the soul, the knowledge, the energy of another person, and you recognize that it's the same as yours. You want to talk about knocking down barriers to division? How about recognizing we're all the same?
Right.
I think that'll do it.
Absolutely.
So we've got a really big mission here, guys.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. And I'm so glad to have you on this with us.
We are too.
Yeah.
It's our life. We love it. You know, it's given us freedom. Just the little things. It's another non-visual skill that we've learned how to use, and we do use it on a daily basis. Once we master it and I'm driving a car around, then it'll be super fun.
Yeah. Well, and let me just point to that, though, if I may, Mike. I hate to take away the mic from you, but
no,
you two are so amazing. Think about this, and the viewers don't know this, but like if you do vocational rehab, you're for blindness, you're learning your blind skills, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 24 months, something like that.
sometimes anywhere from 9 to 24 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have had the opportunity to come up and train with my brother Mike, like one weekend a month on select months, once every other month sometimes, and go home and have that discipline.
Yeah.
All right. Have that discipline to train with each other and develop this without somebody there to actually work with you full time. And Mike, you told me the story where you dropped a screw in your garage and bent down and picked it up with 2 fingers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
That's the stuff that just makes it so amazing, gives me chills. I do the technique, I go through just a quick meditation in my head, and just boom, saw something on the floor, saw something. I have plastic eyes, so reach down and pick it up. And those things happen on a daily basis.
Yeah. Like out on a summer day. I mean, shoot, it was 116 the other day. And, on a normal summer without COVID, we would have to still do life and like go out in a Lyft or an Uber, and you drop stuff, especially when you have a 5-year-old, like jumping monkey like we do.
Yeah.
And, you drop stuff, and it's freaking hot on the pavement, on the asphalt in a parking lot. And I got to watch my kid. I got to keep my purse on my shoulder. I got the car seat, and I got my cane, and I freaking dropped my phone or something. The last thing I want to do is first touch that asphalt with my hands. And second, like, ask for help. I don't want the driver to get out, or I don't want my son, my 5-year-old, to have to pick that up, to be able to just do my quick technique, scan, and boom, there it is. Grab it with precision and move on with my day.
Mm-hmm.
Drivers start asking us all the time. I mean, we've been on quarantine for about 4 months, but drivers are like, wait, you're blind? I mean, that is a common question.
Yeah.
You're blind?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Wait, so you can't see anything? Well, okay. We don't have enough time in this ride to explain what we're doing, but we are blind with our physical eyes. But yes, we have probably greater vision than most people. And that's metaphorically speaking, and that's also Vibra speaking, because with Vibravision, and we're kind of running on to the end of our interview, but I mean, you guys, it's limitless. I constantly see the what are those things called? Studs in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a nice spacious home, and sometimes I'm like, God, what is that line? It's driving me crazy. I just see it. And I knew there was nothing on the wall there. I go up and I touch the wall, and I'm like, okay, sun didn't color on the wall. What am I seeing? And then I just knock on the wall, boom, stud. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing the studs in the walls. Okay, that's fine. I'm just seeing lines everywhere. So, I mean, it's remarkable. And the military use to get to the higher consciousness that you might be searching for. We all have the ability, whether you're blind or not blind, or have PTSD, or you want to stay safe from the germ bug. That's what we call it in this house. The breathing techniques, definitely. There's so many applications and uses for this system. It's just unbelievable. It's all encompassing, mind, body, and spirit.
Absolutely.
And we're just so happy and pleased to be on this path with you and your brother Mike and the other blind crew. Woo woo.
Yep.
And all of you that want to come. So if you're watching the show and they're like, wow, I want more information. Wow, I would love to talk to Nate. How do people reach you?
All right. Well, I did type everything over into the chat, but it's a private chat, so you may have to copy paste it into the Facebook post. However, people can go and visit our foundation website at vibravision.org, and that's vibravision.org. And we really appreciate your donations. We're a 501c3, so it's tax deductible for you. And all of our proceeds go toward helping Mike and Tiffany train. It goes toward further scientific testing with Dr. Fannin and others. And it also goes toward helping us train trainers who can take this to more communities. And so vibravision.org is our foundation website. But if you're interested in training for yourself or a family member, you can visit us at vibravision.com. And we have our immersion page there where you can go And it's an application process. Not everyone is accepted into this program. Okay, so we do a background check. We make sure that we don't have any people with dark histories that come and they may use this for the wrong purposes, because we were given the honor by the royal family of Java, Indonesia, to bring this abroad for humanity. And we want to make sure that we keep it pure, and we want to make sure that it's used for only the most benevolent purposes. And so if you are interested in applying, our next immersion is coming up August 21st through 25th here in Ogden, Utah. And then we'll have another one in November. And then in 2021, we're really looking to ramp up the immersion schedule where there are more dates and who knows, maybe more locations. So
Yes.
Vibravision.org, Vibravision.com, and check us out, our channel on YouTube. You'll have cat videos are cool, but real life Jedi powers that are backed by science and medicine, that's way better.
So Nate, I have one quick question for you, and I just wanted to, we can kind of finish up with this a little bit, but where would you see Vibravision in 5 years if everything was perfect the way you wanted it with the organization and the growth? Where would you see that being in 5 years? Ideally, if everything was your way.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic question. Like I was mentioning before, with so many things in this fluid and dynamic situation that I'm in right now, or we're in, with so many things coming at me, I'm looking at what would it be like to have a Navy SEAL team who's trained in this. So if their night vision goggles go out in Afghanistan, they're okay. They're not like the people that they're fighting against, like they have something besides night vision goggles available to them. What would it be like if we're having training for the VA, where we have veterans who are able to come and learn how to balance their mind, body, and spirit and have a very good physical workout and keep their health strong, and also increase their brain-heart connection, their coherence? What would it be like to have 10 Vibravision training centers where people who are sighted or not can come? Or what would it be like to have traveling trainers who could go to different blind schools throughout the country and start people on this path? So when you ask me, where do I see this in 5 years? I can't give you a real solid answer, because I know, based upon what is happening and what is coming into my reality and our reality, if I tell you it will be this in 5 years, it's going to be much more.
I love
Beautiful.
it. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending that time with us. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We have some more amazing people like Nate Zeleznick that are heart-centered, integrous people, up to some amazing things that's changing the world. So thank you so much for spending time with us, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. It's my honor to be with you. Love you.
All right, now we got to stop this. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah.
So remember, guys, we're new at this.
There you go.
And all right, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Uh-oh, is it ending? What do you have to do, Mike? It's not ending. What if I just close it?
I don't know. You might lose it. It's something.
I don't know.